Morning. Welcome in on this a little bit early class day today. How are you guys? It's great to see you. Great to see you. We're a little early today because it's my son's birthday. He's turning 14 actually while we are live today. I was in labor 14 years ago at this exact moment with a nurse who was yelling at me that I wasn't pushing hard enough. And voila, half an hour later I had a beautiful baby boy. So welcome in. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to be reading for you until 1 o'clock on the dot today, so I can get downstairs and spend a little bit of time with him between readings and class. And then we have class from 2 to 4 p.m. today, which is a little bit ahead of schedule again, so that, and the reason for that is my parents are older and I want to be able to have birthday dinner with my folks. Every year that we get to celebrate the kids' birthdays with my parents is a gift. I'm sure a lot of you realize that. So if I had finished tonight at our normal time, I wouldn't have been able to have dinner with my parents, who are still with us and healthy. And so anyway, thank you for allowing me to move our schedule around just a little bit today so that we can have kind of the best of both worlds. I appreciate you. All right. I'm reading from a deck today. This is the one my spirit guides wanted me to read from for you. This is called the Life Loves You deck by Louise Hay and Robert Holden. And I like this deck. And I haven't read from this deck for you in a little while. So I always switch it up. If you ever have a request for a deck, I want you to know you can tell me. I would love that, actually. So if you ever want to let Alexis know, like, hey, I really love this one deck she uses. Can she use it again? I would love that. I would welcome that input and that feedback from you. So anyway, just so you know. So I'm going to ask your spirit guides to come closer. I'm going to ask my spirit guides to help me be a good, clear, and open channel for the wisdom and the information that wants to come through today. Asking that only wisdom and information in service of your highest good, or the highest good of the one who asks is allowed to come through and be expressed, transmitted, communicated. And let's give thanks for wisdom that's already on its way for you today. I love this deck. Wait till you see. It's a cute one. All right, you guys. And cheers. Yeah, we've got Easter weekend this weekend. I'm going to be offline for the next couple of days because I have to write the first 2 chapters of my book and get that ready for publishers. So I'm going to be a little bit quiet after today until Monday. Working in a different capacity. But I'll be checking in on you in the Facebook group here and there when I can. So let's get started. Who's here and ready to go? Let's see. Kaz is here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I am the shittiest singer on the planet. Happy birthday to you. How about a birthday card for you today? Would that be nice? I would love it. You're a birthday twin with Nick, but you're in different hemispheres, so it's weird, but it's awesome. So Karen, let's see what do we need for the year ahead for Karen, for her wisdom? You're such a sweet friend to all of us here, and I know so many people are grateful for you. I love this for you. Only love is real. When you're afraid, remember this. Only love is real. Let love bless you, guide you, and inspire you. I love that. It's interesting. It reminds me of something that came through in ayahuasca a long time ago that I haven't thought about in a really long time. I had this ayahuasca journey where I was shown kind of like what happens when we die kind of thing. That was one of my questions anyway. And what they showed me overwhelmed me a little bit, but one of the things they showed me is there's nothing to divide us or make us fight or make us judge each other. Like it doesn't exist. That's very human. It teaches us a lot of things, but when we go back there, that doesn't happen. Like we wouldn't over there, it's not like you would judge someone because of their race or because they have less money than you, or like that's, those things are not things that would happen there. And so this, I think this is a truth, that there is only love, in the sense that there's only one on the other side. There isn't the many. We see ourselves equally when we cross. So I think it's important to remember that sometimes when we're fussing and fighting and divided, it's like, we're over there, you're not, like, as soon as you close your eyes here, you won't even be able to touch that. It's such a human, weird experience, right? So anyway, remember that lesson this year, that there really is only love. And some people would look at me and go, you're the cheesiest person. That's not true. That's a Hallmark card. You know, there isn't just love. There's all kinds of things. But like deep down in my soul, I believe that to be true. So when I find myself caught up in human emotions, I always remind myself to pull back, that this is a mask I'm wearing because I chose to come here and have a human lifetime. But this isn't like how it is, which allows you to kind of elevate up. So remember that you're bigger and different than this, and you know that. So it's just a reminder to embody what you already know that you are when you get to human. Do you ever have those moments? I was meditating. I'll just share this with you because sometimes you need to hear these things. I was meditating a couple of weeks ago. I was having a hard time. And honestly, just because of how the world is. You know what I mean? Like I have these moments where I struggle with humanity, and I was meditating, and when I meditate, I talk out loud to my spirit guides. It's like a conversation. You would probably think I'm crazy, but I talk to them because I can hear, so it's a conversation going back and forth. And I literally looked up and I said, because I'm fucking human. And when I brought my head back down, I started laughing. Because I literally, in that moment, I stopped. I know I'm reading for you, but maybe this is interesting for you. In that moment, I stopped and I looked around and I said, and if anything I believe is true, you guys are all laughing at me right now. Because you're like, yeah, you are human. And so, yeah, you're human. And I'm like, and if none of you are laughing, then I don't know anything, and nothing I believe is true. I totally had this experience out loud, meditating, not that long ago. If all of you are laughing, you know what? Go ahead and laugh. And when I get over there, I'm going to laugh at you. And if you're not laughing, I don't know anything, and everything I believe is a lie. I've always been able to hear. The gift that ayahuasca gave me is now I can see. I was always able to hear. Anyway, I hope that's helpful for you. That really happened to me. All right, Bree. She said, I need a card, Athena. I just quit my very toxic job. Will I find another one quickly? Is that a yes, no? Hi, Bree. A pendulum says yes. Will she find a job she wants quickly? Let me ask a different question. Pendulum says yes. Does she know what she wants? Pendulum says yes. I asked a couple of other questions for you. Ooh, Tara Winters. Hi, Tara Winters. That's nice to go into your energy field today. She said, I would love a card. I've been feeling super stale and stuck lately. Anything new coming my way? I'm sneaking at work. Okay, she's sneaking. Hold on. So Bree's going to find a great new job. Universe says you know what you want. So let's move with that. By the way, if it's yes, no, just let me know that, and I can use the pendulum instead of pulling a card. Tara. I express my gratitude. Make your gratitude your spiritual practice today. Start with good morning, bed. Thank you for being so comfortable. I love you. When was the last time you said that? The more you express gratitude, the more you will find to be grateful for. Are you doing this enough? I know it sounds crazy, Tara, because I think it's crazy, and yet I've seen it work. When I feel stuck, I usually have to stop and start saying thank you for the smallest, tiniest things around me. Thank you for this floor that I'm sitting on. Thank you for this bed that I slept on last night. Thank you for this food I'm about to eat. Thank you for the sun that's outside. Gratitude begins the cycle of abundance. If I had one piece of, let me listen to the guides for a second. Guides are like, this is what you need to teach them. If I had one piece of criticism for Soul Shift, and maybe I'll make a post about this, because teachers always have, like, the teachers see like what you're doing well and where you need to improve. If I could do a report card for Soul Shift so far in 2021, the one thing that's missing is enough gratitude. And I'm not saying for me, I'm saying for everything. It's when you're in a tough place, the last thing you want to do is say thank you, because you're like, I should have more, I should do more, I should create more, I should move more, I should more, that's where we naturally go as humans. And what I've learned spiritually is where we naturally go as humans is probably the opposite of where we need to go as spirits in order to create what we seek. Gratitude begins the cycle of change. It begins the cycle of abundance, and it begins the cycle of growth. So this is what's coming through today. Gratitude. What are you grateful for? When you look at a glass, do you see it as half full or half empty? I grew up with that, right? Like, are you a glass half full person, or are you a glass half empty? Some people, like, let's take an example. Some people will look at this hour of readings today, right? And at the end of it, they'll go, well, I didn't get a reading. When I'm doing this, like, on my son's birthday, you know what I mean? Like, because I believe in it, because I want to create the space for you, and because I do as many as I can in an hour. But some people will look and say, I didn't get one. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I'm saying look and say, how could you be grateful? Maybe there's a message for someone else here that I'm sharing for somebody else that could be relevant for you, right? Maybe you could look and say, well, I didn't get a reading today, but she did it on her kid's birthday. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of special. There's always two different ways of looking at something. Now, and I've had to learn this because I grew up as a grateful person, but I still didn't express enough gratitude. So I have a policy now. Every single day, you can try this if you want. I think it's actually part of how I've created something successful in my life, if you want my 2 cents. People ask me for business guidance all the time. I'm not going to give you business guidance because I honestly, your business is going to be so unique to you, I probably can't guide you, right? But I can give you some business guidance in the sense of every single day I sit down and I write at least one email or send one voice message or send one text every single day to someone just to say thank you and not ask them for anything. Every single day. Yesterday it was to one of Zoe's teachers because she's been creating art during spring break because she was so inspired by this art class that she's taking as part of her 6th grade curriculum. And I wrote to the teacher and I said, you may not know it, but my child is sitting here on spring break drawing because you inspired her. And I want you to know that you made a difference in our lives this year. And that teacher wrote me back during spring break, like 3 hours later, and said, you have no idea how much this means to me. I would love to see pictures of what she's drawing. I love what I do, and thank you for taking the time to send a message. When you create those little ripples in the field, right, it reverberates out and it will change your life. So even if you don't get a reading today, I want you to kind of take this home in your heart. Like, who can you say thank you to today? Maybe it's somebody who posted something on Facebook that made you laugh, or shared a TikTok video with you that made you laugh, or because God gave you a sun outside today and it's warm. Like something small, because it's too easy to look around and say, I wanted, what about me? Where am I? What do I get? It's too easy to do that, and that's the human way. The spirit way is, wow, I'm really blessed. You know what I mean? How can I pay this forward to somebody else? I'm going to stop my soapbox for now, but I think this is actually a bigger lesson. Like, this came up for Tara Winters, but I actually think it's probably for all of us. And I really have committed to that practice every single day, a thank you. Just one. It doesn't matter who it's to, because the universe is watching. Are you grateful or are you not grateful? Are you full of joy, or are you full of, grief? And like, how are you making efforts to raise your vibration, right? So, Look at that. Sabrina says, every single day I wake up, I do a gratitude list. She said it helps me pay attention to the little things in my day to be grateful for. So this is just maybe this is a validation actually, Bree, for you that you're doing the right thing. You know, and maybe this is Spirit's way of, you know how we all get used, right, in service. Like maybe this is Spirit's way of using you to remind people to be in that place of gratitude, because it's a game changer, you guys. It's a game changer. Okay. It does. Marianne says it takes 21 days to form a habit. I was trained by a psychologist at USC with a slightly different perspective. The psychologist at USC who trained me said it's 7 times. So it might be 21 days, but I was trained at 7 times. You do something 7 times in a regular pattern. So every morning for 7 days, you eat a different breakfast. Every morning for 7 days, you say you're grateful. Every night before you go to bed, you send people's energy back to them. If you do it sometimes in a row in a consistent pattern, it'll become a habit. So between 7 and 21, Marianne saying 21, I was trained 7, whatever that is, like maybe it's 3 times 7 makes the magic. But try to do something consistently every day. It's really important. Okay, here we go. Chrissy Whistler, I would love some guidance on my next steps if you feel called. Let's go in, Chrissy, and see what's happening for you. I like this one for you. It's a reminder. These cards are like little reminders, things that you know, but that you need to be reminded of. This is how I think of this deck. I live in an abundant universe. This is for you, Chrissy Whistler. Notice how abundance flows into your life in delightful and surprising ways. Like this morning I woke up and there were lemons all over the garden from my tree that fell overnight. Now, if I wasn't mindful, I would ignore that. But mindfully, I'm like, that's abundance. That's like 5 lemons. That's a lot of lemons, right? So what are your lemons, Chrissy Whistler? Spirit guides are saying. Notice what you're noticing. And shift what you notice. If you're looking to the left, look to the right. If you're looking to the right, try looking to the left. Because perspectives shift when we notice, when we become aware, right? It's a different way of saying awareness. Your next steps are already being shown to you. Notice what you're noticing. The universe is never not abundant, right? It's about whether and to what extent we notice, right? I love that. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I love that, Susan. Thank you for that, Susan. She said the consistent pattern needs love energy, though. And you are so right. She said if you do it but have resistance or bitterness, it won't stick. Just like if you try to manifest something and you're constantly doubting it, it is not going to happen. You can't feed something and deprive it at the same time, right? If I gave you a meal and then pulled the plate back, and I gave you a meal and I pulled the plate back, and I gave you a meal and I pulled the plate back, you'd be like, I'm done. What? And that's what you do with the universe. I want a new job. Please don't get me fired. I want a new job. Please don't get me fired. I want a new job. Please don't get me fired. Right? We just have to look sometimes at how we're communicating with the universe, because we send a lot of mixed messages. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like there's a lot of wisdom for all of you in whatever's coming up here right now. So hopefully it's resonating with you too. Let's see. Sharon Gissel, she said, I would love guidance. Is there anything my spirit guides would like to share, especially with my health? Let's see, Sharon, what's coming up for you today. Hi, Sharon. if you can come to class tonight, I don't know why, but the guides are saying there's something that I'm going to talk about tonight that's relevant for you. If not, maybe you can watch it later. Tonight is kind of a second Crystal Masters, actually. I'm teaching you a new crystal healing technique, and I'm teaching you about the vagus nerve and the chakra system. So anyway, if you can't watch it live, it's okay. Just maybe watch the recording when, whenever you feel like you want to. I'm willing to let love in. And Francine, I'm going to come to you next. So I see you. Yeah. I'm willing to let love in. Isn't this a great card? I like this one a lot. And then here is what it says on the back side. Open your arms wide and say, I am willing to let love in. It is safe to let love in, and repeat that 3 times. So Sharon, let's look at this through the lens of health, okay? Let's look at this through the lens of health. What does it mean to let love into your body? Most of you know that I've been working on physical healing for the last, I would say 11 years in earnest, meaning constant research, and for the last 20 years just more out of curiosity and to help other people. Pain and illness is stuck energy, and stuck energy comes when we're not sending love to the space. It really does all come down to love. Isn't that what this entire session of readings is about? And this is probably why it was so important to Spirit that I read for you today. Because we started out talking about this, right? Like love, the vibration of love, and how the vibration of love is actually the vibration of everything that isn't human is love. And so with regard to your health, that's what I'm getting for you, is you need to let love into the space. Because what this is for you is older. There's a lineage piece to this too, genetics. Also with them not being able to let love in, so you've inherited some kind of, you've already got a contraction, right? But you can shift it. You have the gifts and the skills and but then it becomes a choice, right? Like, do you want to heal it? Are you willing to be the first to let love into that space? And, what does that mean, and why would you not, kind of thing. These are the other questions that come up. So Francine has her solar return today. Her birthday's tomorrow. I don't have a question, but if you feel called, would love a reading for the year. Let's see what's coming up for you, Francine. I think it's fun. I love to try to do these birthday readings, whether it's a stone reading or a card reading. I love to try and give you something for the year ahead if I can. So let's see what's coming up for Francine. If we believed this, again, it's the theme of the day. If we believed this, we would live differently. Life loves me. Life loves us all. Look at yourself in a mirror, breathe in and say, life loves me. And as you breathe out, smile and repeat that 10 times. Life loves me. It's hard when you're in a tough spot to do that, because it doesn't always feel like life loves us, right? What the spirit guides are saying to me for you, Francine, is how are you receiving love right now? And is this the year for you to open to new ways of receiving? What does love look like? And are you open to new ways of feeling, new ways of receiving, new ways of experiencing love? The guides are saying it's kind of overdue. It's up to you, though. That's a choice. I have people in my life who choose not to receive love. I don't know if you do, but I do. And they're not in my nuclear family. But these are people who just, and some of them are pretty open about it. Single forever. In a relationship, but hearts closed. And they have their reasons for it. I don't judge them for it, but that's where they are. And that's a choice. Yeah. I haven't seen it lead to a lot of happiness. Personally, I haven't seen it lead to like massive happiness, but these people get by. They're okay, you know. Let's see. Tanya Manon. Athena, may I have my first reading ever? Hi, Tanya. That sounds like fun for me today. Let's do it. Tanya. Oh my God, it's 12:32. I just need to send up one more wish for my son. I delivered him 14 years ago this minute. I'm just going to take a second here. So good. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Tanya. Well, that card jumped out of the deck. Tanya. Here it is. You ready? I am beautiful and everybody loves me. And that feels so weird to say that. In our culture, we would judge people endlessly, right? If they made a video and said, I'm beautiful and everybody loves me, people would be like, who the heck do you think you are? Except we actually should feel this way about ourselves. I'm beautiful and everybody loves me. Carry this thought with you today and notice the effect on you and on others. Guides are talking about worthiness. They're showing me, they don't always show me past lives. Isn't that interesting? But they're showing me one of yours. There may have been a time where you felt overlooked, the guides are saying, in a past life. And it may have left you with a thought of, and I don't even know if it was intentional what they're showing me, but it may have left you with a feeling of like, am I worthy, or am I, good enough, or am I? And the guides are saying this lifetime is about reminding you of how worthy you are and how more than good enough you are. But if you ever feel like a stickiness there, I think there's some kind of past life thing. The vision they're showing me, I don't want to take too much time. I don't even know if you're interested in any of this, but they're showing me like children in a family. It almost looks like royal. There's like a royal feeling to it. It's almost like it got passed over for a title, or got passed over for a. It's interesting. They're showing me children in a line, from shortest to tallest, and they're showing me like a man, and he's like in a suit, and he's going to all of the children, and you're in that line, and it's like you're being passed over for. I can't tell what it's for. Anyway, I don't know if this is helpful to you. But it's time for you to recognize that the whole point, I think, of this lifetime is to remind you of how valuable and worthy you are. Interesting, right? She said I was adopted, and so I said a prayer to my birth mother at the time of birth, hoping she was well and beautiful and happy. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love that so much. So, that was from Francine. So I don't know if that resonates with you, darling, but that came up for me today for you, and that's a powerful, powerful vision I just had. Truly, truly, truly. So I'll be curious to know if that resonates, Tanya, with any of your feelings. You need to know how powerful you are. And there's something that you have to do with that knowledge. And it feels like work or profession, but it's like bringing that confidence and that, like, I almost feel like I want to sit up a little straighter. Like you have to bring that level of gravitas and power to something. It's very important for you. Okay, really, is this resonating with you? God, I hope so, because it's like, I've got goosebumps all over. I really do. Okay, let me go back up in the feed, because Spirit is guiding me back. Thank you for holding that moment with me. That was my baby. It was really cool to share that moment with you. It really was neat to share that with you. I worked so hard to free that kid. I really did. Okay, Melissa Wright. Spirit was asking me to please go back and find you. I'm going through a lot of changes. I can feel it. Can I have a card reading for some insight and guidance regarding how it's going? Spirit wants me to tell you, Melissa, you're doing great. Are you not? Don't be so hard on yourself. Seriously, Spirit was like, go back up and have me look for you. Melissa, Melissa, Melissa. This is like the theme of the day. I think we all just needed a collective like hug from the universe today. Life loves me. Melissa. Life loves us all. Look at yourself in the mirror and breathe in and say, life loves me. Life loves me. And then smile. And do that 10 times. Yeah, it feels weird, right? But at the same time, the guides are saying you need an affirmation. So you're doing great. You're right where you need to be. It's going to be okay. These are all the things I'm feeling from your spirit guides. Breathe. These changes are all necessary, you know? Like a few years from now, you're going to look at them differently. You know what I mean? Like right now, they might not seem connected. The spirit guides are showing me dots that are like out of order, and then they're showing me dots in a line. It's all going to make sense to you later. So if you know that now, maybe you can approach it with a different perspective. Ms. Missy, I would love a reading. Hi, Missy. My best friend passed away a couple months ago, and I seem to be pushing away the feelings of grief almost in this uncontrollable way. How do I do this? It's hard. Missy, Missy, Missy. Interesting card. I'm going to say to you, Missy, as somebody who's grieving somebody too, it's actually a month exactly since I lost my friend. A month on Friday. I'm finding it hard to grieve in a time of COVID because I feel like, my experience, but I'm just sharing this with you. Part of, I think, what's making it complicated to grieve right now is that so many people are grieving, right? I mean, we've lost like millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people around the world this year. So there's so much grief. Even if you haven't lost anybody this year, there's so much grief in the field that I feel like the grief gets kind of drowned out, if that makes sense. Grief is a unique experience this year for a lot of people. And I haven't heard anybody say that, but it's been my lived experience, because I feel like my grief is like little tiny drops in an ocean of grief, as opposed to, and not that we don't lose so many people every year, but not as many this year as this year. So here's what the card says, Missy. What you control the most causes you the most pain. Breathe in, breathe out, and let go of trying to control your life. I don't sense you try to control your life, but there is this energy. What the guides are saying is there's no way, like right way, wrong way to do this. So maybe letting go of your feeling that maybe there's something about the process to manage, because like maybe there's not. Do you know what I mean? I hope this is making any sense to you, but there's no right way, wrong way. And because you're grieving in a sea of grief, because it almost doesn't matter if you lost someone to the pandemic or not, right? Like you're grieving in a sea of grief. And actually, I think it makes it weirder if you don't lose the person to COVID. Like my friend didn't die of COVID, but it's like grief in a sea of grief. So maybe letting go of like how this needs to look, or whether you're pushing away the feelings or not pushing away the feelings, or it's uncontrollable, or do you need to control it? I think it's interesting that the card mentions control and you mentioned control. You mentioned uncontrollable, and the card is mentioning you need to not control. So I think there's some connection there between, like, can you just let things be as they are and trust the process? Does that make sense? I don't know. Yeah, and Jessica Hicks is kind of said what I said in her own words, right? Like her guys just said, stop trying to grieve the right way. It won't follow a pattern. You aren't letting your friend down if you don't grieve enough, right? Yeah. I had an experience like my friend's wife, because he was still married, posted on Facebook that she was going to have a celebration of his life tomorrow. She posted this like 2 weeks ago. And then she never commented again and never posted again and never shared any details. And people were asking, hey, so is that still happening? And she never followed up. And I was feeling about a week ago, I was like, I'm really frustrated. If there was a celebration, I'd want to be there. And I'm like talking to him, and he was just like, let it go. I'm not there. Like, fuck it. Do you know what I mean? And it was so this moment of like, and he would totally say that to me. He would totally say, Athena, let it go. Fuck it. I'm not there. And I was like, yeah, you're not here. It's okay. There doesn't need to be a celebration of life kind of thing, Such a human thing. All right, let's see what else I can do in service of you today. All right, Tara Clement. She said I would love a reading for Chris today. Let's see what comes up in the cards for you, Tara. It's great to see you today. Tara. Well, this feels like a blessing, doesn't it? I choose to live with ease. Life does not have to be as difficult as you sometimes make it. Complete this sentence. One way I could let my life be easier is... ... The guides are saying this is really important for you right now. How do you create greater ease in your spirit so it's not so heavy for you to carry? Might be good for you to write that down. A little bird just flew by. What can you do to make it easier so that this isn't so heavy for you to carry? Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay. Tiny drops, isn't it, Chrissy? And yet they're not tiny drops, right? Your loss, a lot of us are grieving with you because I felt like I got to meet your grandmother. That was a gift you gave me, because her spirit was huge and beautiful. And so, I'm grieving her with you. I really am. So it's tiny drops, Chrissy, and then it's not tiny drops, right? Let's see. Shirley. Hi, Shirley. She says, I wonder what my guides have for me. Let's take a look and see what's coming up for you, cutie pie. Hi, Shirley. How are you today? I like this. Again, I kind of feel like you guys are pulling for each other. As you would, right? Because of how sweet you guys are to each other, which always makes my heart so happy. So this is the I Nourish Myself card. Those are some sexy blueberries. I just bought blueberries and they're not that cute. It's not blueberry season in California yet. It says, decide that today you will eat only food that loves you. You know better than anyone what is best for you. The guys are saying this isn't just about food. Do what you love and be with what loves you. That's what the guides have for you today. It doesn't have to be hard to be worthwhile. It doesn't have to be tough to be good, I don't know if you grew up feeling that way. There's some that energy is somewhere in your field of if you work hard, you earn it. If it's hard, it's worth it, kind of thing. And it's actually, the easier it is, the more aligned it is. When it's hard, it's usually not that aligned. Because you have to remember, certain things are easy for certain people. Things that are hard for me are easy for other people. Things that are easy for me are exceptionally hard for other people. It's really true. Have you noticed that? There are certain things I can do, and people will say, there's no way I could do that. I couldn't even do that for a day, and you do it every day. But there's other things that are super hard for me, and I look at somebody and they're like, it's like, lifting a toothpick. And I'm like, how do you do that? Because we all have our unique pathway, and so things are made easy for us when they're aligned, and things are made hard for us when they're not. And I think the idea is that we'll go ding, ding, ding. Maybe I should do what's easy for me. Instead, most of us go, no, I'll keep hitting my head against a wall and try and do better tomorrow and really try to pass that math class. And it's like, yeah, but you're not a mathematician. You know what I mean? I used to tell my students this when I was an undergraduate advisor. I used to be like, I know the rest of your teachers are saying, go ahead and struggle and stay with that major that you totally suck at, but I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think you're here to do math. I think you're here to, be a writer or an artist or and I remember having students go, well, my parents said I can't do that. My parents said I have to do math. And I'm just like, well, shit. Good luck with that. You should do so don't be hard on yourself. You're not going to get an award, Shirley, at the end of this thing for most hard on herself. There's no trophy waiting for you or cape that you get to put on. You don't get an extra gold star or armband that says, well, but Shirley was really extra tough on herself, and we should really reward her for that. You've already earned it by being here. It's true. It's really true. If it's hard, rethink it. It ain't yours. Ooh, okay. I'm going back up on the feed. Spirit says I have to go north. Lady Kara, my birthday is Saturday. Happy birthday to you, darling. On a bright and beautiful Easter weekend. And this is her first reading. Will I get laid off from my job this year? Well, let's look at that. And thank you for the birthday wishes. Happy birthday, Kara. Let's see what's coming up for you. The name Kara in the Greek tradition comes from Kyria, which means God, right? Kyrios. So it's a beautiful name. I'm telling you, you guys are so connected, more than you know. Is your job bringing you ease? Life does not have to be as difficult as you make it. Complete the sentence. One way my life could be easier is... ... Are you going to get laid off from your job, or are you going to quit? Alignment. The guys are talking about alignment. Is this the right place for you? That's the question they're saying you should be asking. Not will I get laid off, but is this the right job for me right now? If they move you, they will move you to a different place. So how do you know what's going to happen? You set an intention for alignment. And then the rest will unfold in perfect time. Sometimes that looks like getting fired. The guys are saying, I'm asking right now, is she going to get laid off? And the guys are saying that's not the right question. In fact, I don't know that you will. I think if you wanted to persist where you are, you probably could. The question is, should you? It's a different question. It's a stickier question. Is that helpful? I hope that's helpful. Okay. Happy Easter to you too, Pamela. I love it. I'm getting ready to make Easter baskets, and I'm going to make a ham, and then I'm going to make ham and beans. I love Easter. Oh my God. I do. I love it. Christina, you want to do it with me? She wants to set an intention for alignment. Ready? Close your eyes. Pull your shoulders back. Great Spirit, God, Goddess, Source, whatever feels good to you. in this very moment, I call in energies of alignment. And I'll do this today too with Charlotta when we do our chakra balancing too. I call in energies of alignment, and I ask to be placed on an aligned path with my soul's truest purpose. And I release the rest. Amen, aho, and so it is. Bye. It's as simple as that. Yeah, Amber said she got laid off while on medical leave. She thinks it's the best thing that happened to her. Sometimes it can be. Sometimes it takes years to see that, Amber. Like, if you see it and it's quick, that's just spiritual mastery, honestly. A lot of people, and when I got, when I was let go in a previous lifetime, I was devastated. I didn't see in the moment that it was actually what needed to happen. Marianne Bellefontaine, this has been a beautiful experience. I will check out live readings more often. So much love and gratitude to everyone here. Well, it's great to see you, Marianne. I don't know if you want a card, but I feel called to pull one for you. So I'll pull one if you'd like one. So this is for you, Marianne. Messages today are just so aligned, right? Like, you can actually see the alignment in the messages that I'm pulling for you guys. This is I live in an abundant universe. Notice how abundance flows into your life in delightful and surprising ways. Spirit guides are showing me you in a garden. I don't know. Thank you for that, Tara. Please tell Chris. Mwah. Huge blessings to you, Chris. Ease, man. It's the birthright for you guys. Now you just got to find the pathway there. That makes me really happy. So Marianne, they're showing me you in a garden surrounded by flowers and this message, right? So it's recognizing the abundance around you. It's learning to see it in all its forms, because we pass it by. We really, really do. For me, it's been teachers in my life who've taught me to look for abundance in ways that I didn't always see abundance, right? Like, even walking to a grocery store that's fully stocked, it's like, holy shit, this is an abundant place. I'm surrounded by abundance, right? Which again may sound like so simple and kind of ridiculous, but the more you start to notice it, the more it's around you, right? And you have to start by noticing the abundance that isn't yours, because ultimately that translates into the abundance that is. So you have to learn to say, wow, that tree is so abundant, it's growing. It doesn't belong to me. It's my neighbor's tree, but it's so beautiful and big and alive, right? And ultimately that will find its way to transforming into a form of abundance for each of us personally too. You're very welcome. I'm glad you were here. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy. And happy birthday to you, Stephanie Brown. She said she was so grateful for being able to be here with all of us live today, and their messages are applying to her. That makes me really, really happy to hear that too. Let's see. I have not done the collective pull. I'm going to do one more individual. All right, Peggy Landis. They're bringing me to you, darling. Hi, Peggy. On this beautiful Wednesday. It's 85 degrees here in LA today. I keep looking outside because it's like... So Peggy says, I would love some guidance from my path outside of my day job. Let's cheers to that. Peggy. Let's see what comes up for you today. Guidance for Peggy's path outside of the day job. Oh, shoot. If this isn't guidance, I don't know what is. I'm going to tattoo this to your forehead, Peggy. I can do it. I love that for you. And trust. In times of trouble, remember this. Who you think you are cannot handle this challenge. But who you really are, she can and she will. That's the best, isn't it? You can do it. If Dave was here, he'd be making movie reference jokes. You can do it. I'm not Dave, though, so I'm not going to do that to you. I am going to untangle my pendulum for you, It's about bravery, right? You know you're ready. The guides are saying you know what you want to do. They're also saying you might say you don't know what you want to do. But they're saying you do. Peggy, I will give you the question that I give everybody when it comes to this, because people want me to coach them. They want me to coach them personally. They want me to coach them on how to build a business. And I always say, no, 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 no. I don't want to do that, because what I've learned is everything is so unique to everybody. I could teach you what I did, but it may not work for you. And honestly, what I did half the time didn't even make sense, because I just followed my intuition, but it wasn't like what normal people do. I think I've told you that, right? When Dave joined me at Sage Goddess, he was a marketing expert, right? Dave has a master's degree in marketing. He ran marketing for big tech firms up in the Silicon Valley. Dave is a marketing expert, okay? So when he came in to help me with Sage Goddess, he started saying, well, you guys do it this way, but you really should be doing it this way. This is how marketing is done. And he's teaching me something, right? And I looked at him and I'm like, if I came to my community with any of that stuff, they would laugh me out of my house. That is the most ridiculous. And he was like, but this is marketing. Like, this is what we do in marketing. And I'm like, well, then I'm not doing it. That doesn't work for me, right? That's cheesy. It's not relevant. It's like textbook stuff, right? And so now he's like, I threw all my marketing knowledge out the window, because nothing in the marketing world works for Sage Goddess, because you guys don't want that. I don't want that. It's not authentic to who I am, right? So that's why I say to you, you got to figure it out for you. So the question I would ask you is, Peggy, if I were coaching you, is this: if I could give you, let's say 6 months, if I could give you the next 6 months off, pay all your bills, you didn't have to work at all. In fact, you didn't have to do anything for 6 months. What would you do with that 6 months? That is the answer to every career question you have. Because if you would do it, if you didn't have bills to pay, but you would do that for 6 months, whatever that thing is, you might say, I would volunteer and help people who don't know how to read, and I would teach them how to read. I would move to South Korea and teach English. That is the answer to the question. I would sit home and knit. Okay, then you're supposed to knit. Maybe you're a clothing designer. What would you knit? Would you knit scarves or sweaters or shawls? Is there a different kind of shawl that you would make that nobody's ever made before? There's an answer hidden in whatever you say. I hope that's helpful for you. You can do it. Now you got to go do it. And it's scary, and you just got to do it. It's scary, and then you just do it. Are we out of lockdown? I'm not out of, well, I don't know. I don't know what lockdown is. I am getting my second dose of my vaccine next week, which is why class is on Tuesday, because I'm getting my second dose on Wednesday, and my doctor encouraged me to block out the whole day in case I am challenged. But then after that, I'm going to start pretending like I'm out of lockdown. All right, here's a collective card for everybody. It's true. Here's a collective card for everybody in Soul Shift, Soul Shift, Soul Shift. Everybody who's here now, everybody who'll watch later, right? So this is for you, Rebecca, and everybody else who's waiting. If you didn't get a card today, this is the card for you. This is the collective pull. So here we go. Everybody in Soul Shift, Soul Shift, Soul Shift. Okay. You're so welcome, you guys. Look in the mirror and say, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. And keep saying it until you feel it. The card is, I see myself through the eyes of love. And if this isn't the best collective card for today, I don't know what is. This is a great collective card. I see myself through the eyes of love. Unfortunately, Sage Goddess is going to stay closed at least all the way through 2021, just as a heads up. We will not be having a retreat this year. We have not done any construction on public areas yet because we didn't know how COVID was going to change the world. At the earliest for anything public, we would be doing it in 2022, just to give you a heads up. We have paused all public construction at the shop because of COVID. I wish I had a different answer for you, I know, but it's going to be an online Sage Goddess at least for the next year. But I love you guys for asking. All right, so what does this mean? This means today is a day when you begin the process. Yeah, so stay tuned. 2022, not all my staff is going to get vaccinated probably. Do you know what I mean? And my kids are not going to be vaccinated, so I can't risk any contact with the public until next year. My daughter's immune compromised, do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't be able to interact with you guys and then come home. I'd have to quarantine myself from my kids and all of that. So I appreciate your patience, but it's through the abundance of caution. That's why we're not doing anything public this year. I hope for 2022 we can do a retreat. But I just want to make sure that you guys all know that because of where we are in the world. I know. Poop for pandemics. But thank you for being here. I'm so glad I got to read for you today. I'm going to run downstairs and have a quick lunch with Nick for his birthday. And then I'm going to be with you live from 2 to 4 p.m. today for session 4 of Soul Shift. I'm very excited for it. We will. The group hugs that are going to happen when we finally get to see each other might actually be very awkward for you. You might be like, wow, this woman, like, I'm hugging her and, like, she's not letting me go. You know what I mean? Like, that might happen for us. But you know what? I'm not going to complain about it. I will take an awkward, long hug over no hugs in my life. So I want to thank the spirit guides for helping me be an open channel today. I want to thank your spirit guides for letting me in. Pay attention to your dreams. More wisdom may continue to come to you tonight as we move forward. And I will see you in about an hour for class. Love you guys.